there's a lot here. I'm going to show you an example. So the kind of quickest way to get to what you're looking for is just through this search tab right here, this search box. So I'm going to search for coffee and snacks in the US. If I search for this, you'll get a list that pops up here. So you can click on one that pops up if you see one, or you can search for that keyword, and then you'll get a list of reports on that topic that you're searching for. So I'm just going to click the first report right here, coffee and snack shops in the US. You can see that it kind of gives some basic information here. You also see that there are individual reports for each state here that you can look at. But we're just going to click on the US, the overall US one. So the way that IBISWorld is laid out, it's very much a Porter's Five Forces kind of layout. It doesn't explicitly kind of lay out those 5 forces, but it's based on that framework. So on industry at a glance, you're going to see some basic things, SWOT of the industry. You're going to get all of these profit margins, segmentation, but these tabs over here, they break down everything that's in industry at a glance in a little bit more detail. So you'll see that you not only have data like profit data, but you also have analysis as well. So if we go into these different tabs, you're going to get different things like on industry performance, markets and products, the geographic breakdown. I'm not going to go through everything in detail because there's so much, it would take so long. I'm just going to go over kind of the basics. But all of these graphs that they have in here are interactive, so make sure to kind of play around with them. You can also download them as a CSV, PNG, anything that you need. You can put these into a deck, and then you can kind of change the visualization here. So you'll also have some analysis as well. You have the CAGR for each industry, and you have some data as well down here. So just take some time to browse through these reports. Every report follows the same layout. So they're all going to have these same tabs over here for every industry that IBISWorld has. We're going to go to the geographic breakdown just so I can show you a little bit about that. So here you are going to get the number of establishments in each state, as well as some information, the business locations. This is breaking it down by region, but you can also click the state, and then you can get a even more narrow breakdown of that state, which you can also, down here, go into the specific counties. So if I want to look at Los Angeles County, I can see the establishments, the revenue, employment, and I can go through these different tabs here to look at that in more detail. Right here. It's not going to give you a list, like a directory list of those individual establishments. We can look in another database for that. But this is some good kind of overall kind of basic information here. Not basic, it does go into depth, but it's not going to give you a directory of those individual kind of locations. So I would just spend some time, browsing through these tabs. You have benchmarking, you have the competitive landscape, you have major companies. So, just kind of spend some time in here browsing through these different tabs right here. There's a lot here that you can look into. And then here on the left-hand side, you'll see that we're in the U.S. industry report, but you can also go into the risk report. There's an iExpert summary here. So you can look through some of this information as well. Some of it's going to overlap with the main report, but you can see that there are additional things as well, as like structural risk analysis, internal issues, questions, things like that. So this is going to answer some questions like, is your brand, or having a clear market position, how does that kind of impact getting into this industry, all of this kind of stuff. So there's some pretty interesting data in here, and also analysis as well. So you can go through that, and then you'll also see there's a risk ratings report. This is going to take you through the structural risk, growth risk, sensitivity risk, these kind of things. So you see that the barriers to entry and the structural risk score was also in the iExpert summary. So some of this data is going to overlap, but it's a good idea just to look through all of them to see what's in here. And then you can also go to the state reports as well to select on a state that you want to look into. That's another way to get to the state report. We already got to that through the main report here. You can download any of these reports as a PDF or into Excel. And then if you wanted to browse the reports as opposed to searching for the keywords, you can go to industry research and then you can go to these different sections. So it could be a good idea because sometimes they have, if you go to just the US industry reports, this is going to give you a breakdown of the industries, and then if you click on it, it'll give you the report. But you also have things like the US business environment profiles. So this will include things that might impact that industry. So you can go into, if you already know, for example, coffee shops, what's going to impact, kind of opening up a coffee shop. Maybe maybe the price of eggs would impact that. So you can click here and you can get more info on that. Or maybe the healthy eating index if you're planning on opening some kind of, vegan kind of health coffee shop. You can look at that and you can see, what this kind of area, how it impacts consumers and industries and industry performance as well right here. So this is some good information that you can kind of keep. And then if you need any help, always feel free to reach out to me. This database, it's pretty easy to navigate, but there are some tricky things here, like the US business environment profiles and other little hidden gems. So feel free to reach out if you need any help. And that's it for IBISWorld.